Hi everybody, welcome to Squeeze the World Toys. I'm Patrick, and today we're going to be taking a look at what I believe is the final entry in the Uchuu Sentai Kyuranger Kyutama Gattai series, entry numbered 77, Deluxe Kojishi Voyager. And this isn't like, this is basically put in the sort of toy schedule slot where like the final robot would go, or rather, Orion Battler was more or less in that position, but this also was introduced in, I believe, episode 36. And episode 36 is usually around the time we get our final robot in. And as you can tell, it's a very, very, very small box. It's not like a big ol' combine everything onto this to make ultimate robot situation. It's actually a very small auxiliary component. Kojishi is Japanese for Little Lion, and it's also based off of the constellation Leo Minor. Again, I wasn't aware that Leo Minor was actually a constellation. Yes, it is. Yes, I looked it up. Basically, this is sort of, again, it's an auxiliary mecha for Shishi Red. In the context of the show, it's like a little pet or whatever that he had back on his home planet, and with Kyutama powers, it turns giant and combines with Kyurenoh and Super Shishi Voyager. In fact, on the sides here, I didn't really mention it, but Kojishi Voyager combines with Shishi Voyager to make Super Shishi Voyager over here, and on the other side, Kojishi Voyager combines with Kyurenoh to make Super Kyurenoh. So it really isn't combining with like too much else as far as like other components and whatnot go. It's basically just a big upgrade for Shishi Voyager and Kyurenoh, which really isn't all that bad of a final thing, I guess. But it does leave me into the standard. Not everything combines together, and there's parts left over rant. But it isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Also, we got Orion Shishi Red on the top, even though I think Orion Shishi Red, I mean, it's only been used twice in the show, I think, so far. And it is capable of being used with standard Shishi Red as well, but that's the box there. And before I show off the toy itself, or the Voyager itself, I'm going to pan up a bit to our standard viewing angle, because I had to pan it down so that the little box could fit properly on the screen. But we have the Kojishi Kyutama, again, numbered 77, and it is a little lion, and then when you do the slide, it gives it a big mane. That is adorable. Also, much like the Orion Kyutama, this has a gold base instead of the standard gray or silver one that other Kyutamas have. And here is Kojishi Voyager itself. It is very little, like I'm kind of pushing it back a little bit further so it can fit in the frame. Actually, I'll zoom in on it as well. And pan down and stuff. Let's see if I can get a good... There we go. That's good enough, I suppose. There really isn't any articulation on this guy. The legs don't move. They're all in a fixed position. You can move this kind of tail a little bit, but it doesn't really even open the mouth either, because there's a robot face in there. Much like the lion head on the standard Shishi Voyager. And as you can tell by the Kyutama port, they are ending in tradition, and the Kyutama clips to the butt. And also, this whole thing comes apart. But yeah. Oh, it looks really cute. That's the point of it. It kind of looks like a Shisa as well. In fact, the name of the little guy before he was it was revealed to be like a Q Voyager was at least the fan translation that I watch calls him Caesar, but it could just as easily be Shisa. It's kind of like a King Shisa, King Caesar, King Caesar sort of situation, like in Godzilla vs. Mecha Godzilla. But yeah. That is the component on its own. Now, as I said before, this guy can combine with other things. Most notably, I am going to be going the piecemeal component route when moving everything up to the inevitable end robot, but it can combine with Shishi Voyager. And to do so is very simple. First off, you take the Shishi Kyutama out, and then you take off the lion head here. And then Kojishi Voyager basically splits up into a whole bunch of parts. Of course, we take the Kyutama off, then we take off the head, and then this body, the body parts, this white bit actually flips up a little bit like that, and then this will separate into two halves, like it was actually trying to do before. Then all you gotta do is you take Kyutama, put it into normal Shishi, and the body parts will actually clip onto little legs or feet or whatever they're supposed to be on the bottom. There's like clips for the slots there, or the tabs and clips, but they'll just clip onto the forward and backward legs, and then the head will also go on into the head port. These will swivel around into their arm positions, and then you take the other Kyutamas from Kyurenoh, or any other Kyutamas that you plan on using for limbs on Kyurenoh. I'm going to be using the standard formation because that's what the instructions say to do, and because I didn't feel like bringing over any other limbs from where they're standing. So I'm just going to go ahead and standard formation. So we got yellow goes here, black goes here, blue goes here, and green goes here. And this is Super Shishi Voyager, and this looks really cool. Oh, actually, as for a dramatic face reveal, that's not Shishi Voyager, or Super Shishi Voyager. This is Super Shishi Voyager. Now he's got blue eyes and a more pronounced mane. That's what I'm talking about. This looks really, really, really cool. I like how the added bulk from like the Kyutamas and whatnot sort of add to, I guess, looking a lot more powerful. And you've even got the the legs are the new legs for the for that, and it looks a lot more in proportion. Now, obviously, my big complaint for situations like this are that we do have two parts of Shishi Voyager just kind of sitting around. Well, the Kyutama I'm really not all that concerned about. As you may well know if you've been following these videos, I do have two extra Kyutamas just laying around. I have the Pegasus one and the All Voyager one that came with Orion Battler, and I just kind of have them kind of sitting on the shelf for display. So I just have been putting the Shishi Kyutama alongside those two. As for the head, though, this is going to be a little bit less of a manageable thing for someone like me. This would probably just have to go away in a box somewhere, and I really hate doing that. Now, fortunately, there is a place this can go and clip on. However, it's very inappropriate, at least for this form. See, there is another clip on the bottom between the back legs. And you can put the head here. In fact, the instructions basically tell you if you want to put the head someplace, you can store it there. But I'm not doing that for this form because it looks very naughty. So I'm going to go ahead and just put these off to the side. And I'll replace the lion head in a place for the final robot combination, which will begin now. So while the instructions do basically give an account of how to more or less just combine Kojishi Voyager with Kyurenoh to make Super Kyurenoh, I like to do the combination using Super Shishi Voyager as one of the components. So that's what I'm going to do here. So first off, we're going to take the back leg section off with the tail. Put that off to the side over here. And then I'm going to bring over the standard Kyurenoh limbs. I already have whatever limbs you're going to be using. I already have the other Voyagers in their standard limb forms, so that I don't have to just do all that on camera and waste everyone's time, as if this isn't already a waste of your time as it is. Also, flipping the those guys back. Let's pan up a bit here. Now, the little lion head doesn't exactly rotate like the normal lion head does on this, so it is going to pop off if you try to swap it to twist it around. That's fine. Just basically put it back in position like that. And then the hindquarters here, you basically just flip this tail forward, and this is going to turn into a shoulder-mounted cannon. Not unlike the standard full armor Gundam, like the big green from like original Mobile Suit Gundam, the one that's like all green and has like the shoulder over its the shoulder cannon. That's basically what I keep thinking of this. And I'm also going to go ahead and just kind of put the lion head in there, because it's not going to look nearly as naughty when putting that on there. But yeah, these clips on this white part here are going to correspond with the clips on the bottom of the feet, and you can it'll fit on either side. I'm going to put it in the standard position, which is over the right shoulder, and that just clips on there. And then, of course, for the final time in this series, at least as far as Kyuranger goes, the dramatic face reveal, which looks about the same as regular Kyurenoh, but still, it is now Super Kyurenoh. And I didn't really think that Kyurenoh really needed an improvement, but this improves him. Oh yeah. It's a really cool sort of equipment auxiliary combination here. It looks really, really cool. I really like this a lot. Also, the instructions will tell you to make the arm go up to kind of hold the cannon in place. It really doesn't do that. In fact, the arm is not touching the cannon at all. Now, in the show, they only really have used the swordfish arm for holding up the cannon, because it actually has like a stick that goes in between on the show's the practical effects suit. But on this, there's no such thing on that, so there really isn't any kind of support for the cannon. It really doesn't need it. It doesn't seem to be like stressing anything on the white part or anything like that. It just kind of sits. And usually when I have it displayed, just kind of standing there, I do usually have it like this with the arm down. But either way, this looks really, really cool. I mean, you don't even have to have this holding it up to say, hey, I got a big old shoulder-mounted cannon. What are you going to do about it? In fact, I actually have a full armor Gundam of some description. I have a full armor 7th Gundam back there on one of my shelves. You may have taken notice. It also has a giant shoulder cannon over its right shoulder, and it doesn't need to hold it up. In fact, its other arm is already holding a rifle. But regardless, that is Super Kyurenoh. That is the final robot, I believe, for Kyuranger as far as I've seen. So now, if you will indulge me, you probably know where this is going. I am kind of disappointed that there hasn't been a super mega uber-duper everything together ridiculous combination. In some way, shape, or... I mean, there has been in some way, shape, or form, like the Orion Bazooka thing has a place where Libra and the Snake and the Eagle can just kind of sit, where all of the other combined robots will just kind of like gather around it, and you can add the cannon form of this to that, but it's not really the same. At least with the way everything is set up, there aren't any with the two humanoids and the Eagle notwithstanding, there really aren't any unused parts, except for the one Kyutama, which, like I said, I just keep on the shelf anyway and display it that way, because it does look cool when you display these on the shelf. I mean, this is like it doesn't feel like anything is missing when you display this on a shelf, so that's fine. It's not like I'm, displaying like half a swordfish or something to that extent. But But I am glad. I am glad. I am happy with what we did with what we did get. This looks absolutely awesome, as I've said, and I do like a lot of the other combinations as well. I mean, there are some limbs that I think look better than others, but in all honesty, I've really enjoyed collecting the deluxe figures and the deluxe robots really for this series. And it really did help scratch that itch, that collecting itch that I've had for a while. Because, as I've said on several occasions, this was the first time I've ever. This is the first time in about a decade that I've actually collected a full set of Super Sentai mecha. So I'm going to be done with that for the time being, because it is very expensive and it is. It takes up a lot of space when all is said and done, but I do still enjoy doing it every once in a while, and this, again, got to scratch that itch. As for Kojishi Voyager itself, I think it's worth getting if you want to do what you're going to do with it, like here. On its own, it really doesn't do much. It really doesn't do anything at all. It's just kind of like a statue. At the very least, it is a bit cheaper. It's about the same price, I would say, maybe a little bit even bit cheaper than that, of one of the standard limbs, like the separately sold scorpion, humanoids, eagle, or bear. It was about $20. I think it's like $25, like 2,500 yen. I think is the retail price, which is again the same standard price for a standalone limb component for this line. And I really think it's only kind of worth it if you got Kyurenoh to go with this, because that's how, that's basically what it's made for, is to combine with Kyurenoh and put a big old honkin' bazooka on his shoulder. That said, if you only have Kyurenoh, if like Kyurenoh is like the only thing you have and you haven't been able to get anything else, this is a nice, cheaper way to expand on that. Like, you don't necessarily have to get, like, all these other limbs and whatnot, or, other robots to go with them. You can get, like, this one power-up thing, and you can still use everything that you already have. And again, you only have one part that's kind of sitting around, so I'm okay with that. But again, I would really only recommend getting this if you already have Kyurenoh. But that is the end for Kyuranger. At the very least, that's what I've been led to believe. They could surprise us and come out with some sort of big ol' honkin' disaster robot, like, right at the end of the series. I mean, the series is going to be over in, like, 3 months. Or, like, 2.5 months, more like. It's at episode 38, I think, is the latest one that I've watched, so I think they've gone into episode 39 by now. And, or they maybe just be up to episode 38. Either way, Kamen Rider and Super Sentai are only usually around 50 episodes long each. Usually a little less than that. Usually about 47, 48, I would say, is the average number of episodes for a season. So we only got like 10 episodes left in this season. So I really don't expect any sort of brand new toy to be coming out for the holiday season. I think pretty much Kojishi Voyager and Orion Battler are it for the toy line. So again, I really enjoyed the series. I do recommend checking it out if you're interested. But be forewarned. This is really expensive stuff, especially with deluxe figures like this. Orion Battler retails for almost $100, if not $100. And all the individual components, like the ones that are sold separately, are usually around 20 or 25. I think it was like 20 for all the limb ones, and the Kojishi Voyager, I think it was 30 for the dragon. And of course, the robot sets, the full combined robot sets, are about, I want to say they're about 60 or 80 or something like that. I don't really remember how much I spent on these, but I am kind of glad that it's over. I am kind of glad that I can move on and use my money more wisely for things like Food. I haven't been overspending, too much with this. I've had enough money to spend on food and a place to live and things like that. I just I am kind of glad that it's over. So it's like I said, I do like what we have, but I am glad that all right, I'm done. I can move on with my life now. But either way, definitely check out the series if you're interested. I do recommend Kojishi Voyager if you have Kyurenoh. But either way, maybe now I'll get around to doing those darn Transformers videos, because I've had these things for half a year and haven't done any recording with them yet, except for that one time the Sharkticon was in show. Oh look here's a tiny Grimlock. There you go. Anyway, yeah. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.